there. I'm Beverly Sartain, and this is the Holistic Coach Legacy Podcast, where you get support in being an impactful and confident coach. In today's episode, we talk to Benji Copeland from Third Eye Marketing. And what I love most about this episode is that we talk a lot about bringing spirituality into your marketing. And Benji does such a beautiful job of sharing how he's bringing his own spirituality into his business. And there was just so many wonderful golden nuggets to take from this episode. I hope that you receive the holistic essence, the spiritual essence, and learn that you can share your authentic self with people to market yourself as a coach. Enjoy. All right, Benji, welcome. It's so good to have you here.
Thank you, Beverly. I'm excited to get stuck in.
I know, me too. I'm glad that we got to connect a little bit here before we hopped on, and I'm already really digging your energy and your vibe. So I'm really happy to share you with everybody out there that's listening. So again, thanks for being here.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So Third Eye Marketing, it's such a cool name. And so I wanted us to start off here by sharing a little bit about the backstory that led to your company.
Yeah, for sure. It's a great question. I love it. So basically in 2017, I moved from Australia to Canada. And that was kind of like the beginning of it. It was kind of almost like starting a brand new life. And then the next year I went back to Australia. And while I was there, my granddad actually passed away. And while I was at the funeral, this quote hit me. And it was like, you haven't experienced life until you've been to a funeral. And I don't know if you'd call it like my awakening or my, whatever it was, but it was almost like, I was conscious now. And then I went back to North America and I went to California. And again, this quote hit me. It was like, if California was its own economy, it would be the 5th largest in the world. And then I started seeing people working on laptops and computers, taking birds, driving electric scooters and all this stuff. And I was like, this is the future. And in many cases, I saw more people in cafes than there were, like working than there were eating and drinking coffee or whatever it was. And it was just real cool. And then I got stuck into the whole marketing. And then I was at, that was my senior year of high school. And then I had to make a decision, go to university or not. And I was in Europe backpacking with my best mate from Australia in childhood. And again, I just saw people everywhere in cafes. We were using it every day to see where to go to eat food, Apple Maps, Yelp, reviews, Google, all these different things, Facebook, Instagram. And it was just like, this is the future. This is how we get information and media. And if you know what you're doing, you can really, scale a business. So I was like, no, I can't go to university. So I came back and we got the license for the business. And yeah. The rest is history.
Yeah. The unfolding is happening, right?
Exactly.
It's funny that you say that about California because I had that exact same experience.
Mm-hmm.
I've lived in California a couple of times now. My husband's from California. My brother lives in San Diego still. And I can remember going there and being like, nobody's working.
Like for real, it's like, what is this?
I was like, do these people work? Because it felt like everybody was like at the beach, at the park, like, like you're saying, out
just
at the
enjoying
cafe.
life.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I thought the same thing. I was like, this is so wonderful. Like, I hadn't experienced people enjoying life like that in that way. I had always been so dedicated to working hard. And I think that I had put a lot of value in being a hard worker.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a shift I had to make even in my own business of, what does it mean to be a hard worker? Where does the value lie? Where does the worth lie? And my business has taught me too so much about how to let go of old paradigms about what it means to work hard or what that looks like. And also, allowing more abundance and more prosperity into my life in different ways. So it's so cool that you at your age already have had that kind of an awakening to what online business, online marketing can do. So just acknowledging you for that.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I really think traveling the world, being exposed to new cultures. I went on an exchange to France when I was 16 for 6 months, and that was like another just really life changing because you told one thing and I thought I knew French, for example, and this is a little bit off topic, but I thought I knew French and been learning it for 3 years, and I got there and I was like, whoa, this is not what I'd learned. And it's kind of the same with business, and um, that was one of the reasons that I decided not to go to university. I wanted to go out there and find someone that had a marketing agency, someone that was doing this and practicing and preaching.
Yeah, it's that experiential experience. And a lot of my work is all about that. It's
Absolutely.
like having the embodiment of it is very different than studying it, reading about it, learning about it. And in fact, I think even a lot of online entrepreneurs get stuck in learning versus
Doing.
application of what they're learning and having the experience and letting yourself make mistakes and letting yourself do it wrong so that you can figure out your way of doing it. So yeah, I'm feeling very in line with what you're talking about, which is great. So what's some behavioral based marketing? What
Yeah.
should we know about that?
So there's behavioral based marketing is one of the concepts within third eye marketing. The other one's the 1, 2, 3 method. And behavioral based marketing basically has 7 different marketing pyramids within it. And it all kind of comes down to 3 main points. The first one is really finding a topic that you're interested in talking about, something that you love and you would talk about to anyone, whether you're doing business or not. That could be like the nervous system, the lymphatic system, bone density, muscle growth, even like stretching, cleaning your pelvic floor, all these different things, right? Mm-hmm. Something that you're really interested about. And then the second thing it comes down to is knowing your audience and knowing who you're talking to, and then making a promise to them within a time frame. And then the last point kind of comes down to is just being able to sell that. And how do you set up a process? And that's kind of where the 1, 2, 3 method comes in, to funnel people consistently and predictably, to get high value clientele and scale your business.
That's awesome. I think with service-based people, are often really perhaps better at the front end of that. I think what's harder for them is the 1, 2, 3. The how do I create a system so that I can consistently get people? They're oftentimes very passionate about their work and they're able to provide a really good service to people. And then that method of how they're actually going to get people to them consistently, I think is what a lot of people need help with.
For real.
Yes. Yeah. So what has you so connected to holistic coaches? Because I know that's your area. So
yeah. I mean, it saved my life. Holistic healing and practices really saved my life. And around the same time I started, we got the license for the agency, I really started to dive deep into natural healing processes. And have you ever heard of the supplement Shilajit?
I haven't.
So I'll give you a little quick overview. It's it's a supplement or a compound from the Himalayas, and it's broken down plant sediments from millions of years, and it has 84 minerals, and the body has 102. So you're getting a really good amount of it. And it's made up of like 60% of fulvic acid, and fulvic acid, the main compound that decalcifies your body. And decalcifying your body is basically just a fancy word for reducing inflammation in your body. And inflammation is the root cause of all disease. So once you can reduce inflammation, basically, for anyone that's interested, calcification is the buildup of calcium phosphate crystals throughout the body, and that's what creates hardness and inflammation. So the fulvic acid is what releases that and breaks that down, and it decalcifies your pineal gland, and you really start to have a lot more energy. So that's one of the things. Then you got sea moss and you got dandelion and a whole bunch of other different things. It's amazing and just makes you feel incredible.
Awesome. So that's something that sounds important to you.
Yeah. And then you got meditation and stretching and cold showers, and it's really, I don't know, it's kind of wicked to see that we're living through the time of the internet and consciousness and collective consciousness, because we're not really taught this stuff in school, but now with the internet we can go out there and do our own research and, read up on stuff for ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And, my process has been that, I had basically a quarter life crisis, where things, came to a head for me around substance use and mental health challenges and childhood trauma. And that was the thing that woke me up. And spiritual psychology came into my life then. And I went through this 2-year process of just a deep dive in learning tools and techniques of how to continue to consciously awaken. And so, I'm very connected to that too. So I think it's cool when, we've had our own personal experience, and then I see people that are helping folks, around business and marketing and sales. And I love that we can bring our personal experience to our professional experience. And through that, we can continue to help people wake up, and we can keep waking up even more to the truth of who we are. And so, yeah, it's nice to hear that that's, what your journey has been all about as well.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. I mean, although it's really sad what we're living through right now, it's really on the opposite end. A great quote that I saw was, "There's a rumor or a myth that a tree cannot reach to heaven unless its roots reach to hell." So, you don't really know what the good times are like unless you know what the bad times are like. And right now, it's almost like we have to focus on our health, because if we don't have our health, we're dead. We're nothing. So it's almost like this whole COVID situation's a big transition for everyone to focus on themselves and their health, as opposed to, having FOMO or shiny object syndrome or whatever it is, and actually understanding what can, you do, and what, again, the first point, what are you interested in? What do you actually like to talk about? And what do you want to do?
Yeah, it's truly alignment at its best. It's really getting aligned with what your soul came here to do versus just like a gimmick or what you think you should be doing.
And that's where holistic practices really come in, because they help you do that.
Exactly. Yeah, they help you stay aligned. So how do you encourage people to differentiate themselves through their marketing?
Question. So one of the things that we teach is called the marketing pyramid. And essentially this is the marketing equation. So much like the business equation is assets equals liabilities plus equity, the marketing equation is organic traffic plus paid traffic equals own traffic. And the idea of this is that we want to build a tangible asset from social media, our business, because at the end of the day, if we want to sell, we want to exit our business in 5 years, 10 years, we've got to have email addresses. That's the first thing that businesses are going to look at. How many email addresses do you have? On average, it's about $1 to $10 in revenue a year per email address you have. So, you have 500,000 email addresses, you do the math. So that's one of the biggest things, being able to take people online from an online space offline into your own ecosystem, into something that you own. Because if Facebook's being sued, if these platforms did disappear, then all of a sudden we have lost a way of marketing. So if we have names and phone numbers and email addresses and locations and custom audiences and all these different things, we can continue to market our product. We can sell our business. We have a whole bunch of different varieties and ways. And the idea of this is that all roads lead back to us. So we can set up streams and plant seeds and all these different right ponds and audiences and groups of people. We can funnel people in the right direction.
That's great. That's great feedback for people to make sure that they're getting email addresses and contact information and not just relying on some of the systems that are out there. It's all about creating your own system. And how do you see marketing and sales working together? Because this is always an issue that I see with newer coaches, is they oftentimes want to jump to paying a marketer when maybe they haven't really established what they're offering. So how do you see marketing and sales working together, Benji?
Yeah, they're perfectly excuse me, they're perfectly intertwined. They go hand in hand. And the idea of marketing is to increase sales. So most of the time, you're right. People put like the cart before the horse type thing, and they try to do sales before marketing. But in reality, 95% of business is marketing, right? The rest is just technical. So if you can get your marketing message right, you can get your brand, which is basically what we like to call the message pyramid. So you have you and your business at the bottom, and then at the top you have your brand, and the brand is your message. So if you can have your message, no amount of marketing is going to fix a broken message. So the ads and marketing is the amplifier. So the first thing is understanding the message, right? So understanding what you're interested in, and then the second point, knowing the audience and why they need it, and then making a unique promise to them within a time frame. So for example, it could be something like, this is really specific, but it could be like, I help pregnant women, or I help women clean their pelvic floor after pregnancy within 30 days, right? Or it could be, I help 25 to 35-year-old single men and women clean their gut within, 3 weeks or a month or 30 days or whatever it is. When you make a unique promise, the market's interested, people are interested, and if you can hold that promise, you can really start to grow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the delivery is so important. Making sure you can deliver on what you're promising, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yes, that's
and then the next
important.
thing is just, from there, it's just being able to scale your business. And the only thing that's really stopping most people is finding high value clients and then closing them.
And what do you say to that when someone, because that's usually the first question, is I can't find people. I can't find my people, right? That's what people always say. So when someone says that to you, how do you respond to that?
So the first thing I say is video, right? The goal, again, is to get people to come to us. So we need to be doing, in the beginning, direct outreach. That's organic. You can get up to 300K a month just doing organic outreach. So that's something that you always want to consciously be doing. And remember the traffic pyramid, right? That's one of the core features. So the paid and the organic go hand in hand. You have to start with the organic though. So Facebook groups are the best thing. Honestly, right now, Facebook groups are probably the best thing. And creating your own Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
So once you have people in a Facebook group, it's, your own pond to fish. And Facebook is the biggest social media. They did their first Super Bowl commercial last year, I believe, and it was on groups, and they can see, they're also optimizing for video. Google said that by the end of this year, like 80% of all the content consumed online is going to be through video. So YouTube and Facebook for video, and then Instagram as well. Those three things, they're so perfect. And then, if you want to take that extra step, you can do a podcast as well, and you can just, repurpose the content.
Yeah. Great info.
Yeah.
So what would you say your favorite sales tip is for coaches?
It's a good question. I would say you just have to be, there's kind of 4 main parts to it. You have to be bold, you have to be controversial, you have to spark emotion, and you have to create urgency. So basically just understanding your brand, kind of coming back to the message pyramid, understanding what your brand is, understanding what your message is, understanding what you're interested in, and understanding what your unique promise is to the market.
Awesome. Super clear. Yeah, I really feel like people have a hard time with owning their message,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's almost like,
They
just.
don't believe in it.
Mhm.
And Phil Knight said, the founder of Nike, belief is irresistible. So when you have belief in your offer, when you truly believe in something, and he even says it in his book, he was selling encyclopedias and this and that before he sold shoes. And when he started selling shoes, he said it was just like lightning. It was just so quick because he believed in it and people could sense that belief. And,
Yes.
he says when people sense that belief in not only you and your brand, but what you're actually offering, and it's irresistible, people want that, right? So belief is irresistible. When you believe in what you're selling, you can promise and you can deliver. People want a piece of that.
Yep. I have had a lot of people say that to me.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a lot of people say that the confidence that I have is something that encouraged them to sign up with
Love
me.
that.
I think it's really fascinating because I haven't always seen myself as a confident person, but I do have confidence in my potential and I have confidence in who I am. And I've done a lot of deep work on
Mm-hmm.
who I am, beyond my humanness. And I believe in that very strongly. So, it's interesting because I believe so much in myself and in my purpose. And I love telling people about it. Right? Right? Like I love
You
talking
have to.
about that.
You
Right?
have to.
And
Yeah,
I
you have
do.
to want to.
Right. And so it's been very easy for me to share myself and my passion with people. And I really believe that that's what's supported me in my unfolding that's happened with my business, because I always tell people, like, I wasn't confident in how things were going to go. I was just confident in who I am, in that I had potential and that I wanted to share my potential with others. And that is what has led to, me first starting off being an alternative recovery coach and then shifting more into business because that's what people are coming to me for. And then shifting into now training other coaches on how to coach using the ICF core competencies and ethics. So I would have never have known to start with that later thing that I'm doing now. I mean, first of all, I had to gain the experience to be able to teach people how to coach. But it's just fascinating because I think if you have confidence in yourself and your potential or your purpose, then you really can go very far. We hear a lot of like imposter syndrome. And whenever I hear that, it always makes me think like just that people have an opportunity to do deeper work on themselves so that they can truly believe in themselves. So, yeah. Any other
I
thoughts on
love
that?
that. No, I love that so much. It's it's so true, and a lot of the times people get lost in trying to find themselves. And I'm not gonna lie, I was guilty of that, especially when I moved to Canada, and that was kind
Mm-hmm.
of how I came back to business and investing. Because I've been investing since I was 10 years old back in Australia
Mm-hmm.
in stocks, and then when I moved to Canada, it was it was fun. It was a lot of adrenaline for the first couple months, but then after that, it was like, whoa, this is insane. This is crazy. This is like starting a whole brand new life. And then, everything was just about me focusing on myself and understanding what I like to do. And that was when I really started to, develop my skills and hone my skills and, spend hours just watching YouTube videos and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, you know, um, what's his name? Forgot his name, but one of my mentors reminded me of this quote. You know, and he tells the story of the guy that goes down to the water and then he meets this mentor and he walks out into the water. It's freezing cold, and then he goes out to his chest, or he goes out to his knees, and then his waist and his chest is freezing, and then he holds him down in the water until he can't really breathe, and then he drags him up, and he's like, "You won't be successful until you want it as badly as you can breathe." And that really caught my attention because it was like I felt that drive before, and you lose it and you get it back, and it's just about maintaining it and maintaining that focus and really being able to come into a confidence bank and, just finding that fire and lighting it underneath you and within you, and using that to really go out there and do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I resonate with that so much. So how can somebody work with you, Benji?
That's a great question. I have a Calendly link, so I can send that to you and people can book that. Other than that, just you can add me on Instagram and send me a message and we'll go from there. My Instagram handle's benji.copeland.
Yeah, we'll put the contact info in the show notes. And what are the main services that you're helping folks with?
Yeah, so the main one right now is actually just called Third Eye Marketing. It's about to release next week. So that's going to be a video program. It's going to be a 21-day course, and there's going to be a video per day. And it's just going to cover the pretty much, the whole Third Eye Marketing in a nutshell. And it kind of originated from our first course. There was a one-on-one consulting. It was called the Mind Over Matter Magnet. It was a 21-day program. And then now this is taking the whole concept of behavioral-based marketing, the 1-2-3 method, and putting it into a video program. And then on the back, I'm going to have like a private mastermind with, bi-weekly calls, Q&As. And yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Wonderful. And what are some of the benefits to somebody participating in that program?
So, they get lifetime access to the program. They get access to the private Facebook group, the weekly Q&A calls, and there's a whole bunch of bonuses, like how to scout people, and there's a whole bunch of templates, funnel templates within the actual program. So there's pretty much resources and action items, to hold you accountable every single video. And the whole reason it's 21 days is because I read that it takes on average 21 days to break or form a new habit. And then we implemented it with our first client, and we cleared like 10K within the first 21 days. And I was like, this is it. This is the way to go. And that was using the 1-2-3 method and behavioral-based marketing. So I was like, let's go for it. And yeah, that was June last year. And then we launched the podcast, and that was kind of probably the best decision we ever made, to be honest.
How come?
Just meeting people like yourself, being able to network and share your message, share your thoughts and ideas. And it's just one of the best ways anyway, to make a connection. You can hear tone of voice, you can multitask. You can listen to a podcast and cook dinner and, do whatever, read a book, have a shower. It's kind of hard to do that watching a video. So there's just it's just kind of the new way of being able to, number one, connect with people, whether that's networking within your industry or connecting with, individuals on a more personal level through, your audience and your episodes and, the messages and the content that you're putting out.
Yeah, we've had a similar experience. It's been really, really awesome to do the podcast. And our podcast is super focused around coach certification. And of course, we also support new coaches on setting up their business. And that's why we have people like you come on. But we've been so laser focused on the coach certification and business startup stuff that, the podcast has just done such a great job of supporting people. And like you said, getting to hear me, and they also get to hear me coach other people on the podcast. And so it catapults that trust factor, I think. And it also helps people hear what they're going to be learning, what they're going to be receiving. And so we've also had such a great experience with the podcast, really selling our services in such a great way. So I highly recommend it.
People are saying that podcasting is the new blogging.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. And like you said, and then you can repurpose the content as well to other channels. So that's been really nice too. So yeah, we've had a very similar experience. Wonderful. So, Benji, what's the legacy that you're hoping to leave with Third Eye Marketing?
I want to empower over 1 billion people to unlock their third eye. And whether that's purely business or purely life or a mix of both, I basically just want to help people, not rely on anyone and be self-sufficient.
How do you see that third eye being in connection with marketing?
I love this. So I see that, like, your two eyes are the gateway to the physical world, and then your third eye is kind of the gateway to the spiritual world. And in today's society, it's almost as if that connection's been severed and we've lost the connection to our soul. And your mind and your body and your soul, kind of the three things to life, to you. And when you can nourish them and balance them, it's like, you become who you're supposed to be. And with all the fast food and all of the technology and all these diseases and stress and anxiety and everything in society today, it's our health has become a really big issue. And again, kind of coming back to what we're experiencing now, it's like we need to focus on that. So, you have your three eyes and, everything's, our podcast called The Power of Three, and everything kind of, Nikola Tesla is the guy that kind of made this famous. He's like, if only we understood the power of 3, 6, and 9 and started thinking in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, we would have the keys to the universe. And your mind, your body, and your soul, your mind is kind of like the energy, your body is like the frequency, and your soul's the vibration. And, your soul's, your blood, right? So if you can connect your mind, your body, and your blood, you can nourish it. I actually learned as well in the previous week that cancer can't survive in highly oxygenated blood. So if you can get blood flow to your body, that seems to be right now the best way to, release cancer. And, it's truly just insane. Just even taking, again, kind of coming back to Shilajit, Bruce Lee took that and that was his supplement that kept him Bruce Lee. At least I read that anyway. And it's just, I take one a day, sometimes two, sometimes three, if you want to get something done. And you just have so much energy. It's just like we're almost deprived of minerals and our body's deprived of energy. And, you talk about people saying they're really tired and lack of sleep and all these different things. And it's really the first thing to life is your health. And then you can focus on your wealth, whether that's money, whether that's abundance of experiences and, food and all these different things. And then from there, it's your happiness. I always like to say health plus wealth equals happiness.
Wonderful. Well, you've given us so much to chew on today. I really appreciate it. I love all the wisdom. And I
appreciate being here. Thank you, Beverly, so much. I hope everyone out there listening learned something.
Oh, absolutely. And I love the third eye approach and just the way that you shared about that. And I'm just really excited for what's to come for you. And I'm really happy that we've gotten to connect. Is there anything else on your heart that you'd like to share, say?
I mean, this is kind of a bit of a quirky fact, but I read that logos is the Greek word for spirit. So kind of coming back to the third eye thing, if you can connect your third eye, your spirit, to your two eyes, you can find yourself. You can connect your spirit to the physical world in business, then you can really grow yourself, and most of the time, Simon Sinek made this famous. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And your logo, your spirit, the spirit of the company, that is your why. So when people sense that and they feel that and they know why you're doing something and they're not just seeing what you're doing, that's what's going to make you whatever you want to become.
Well, it's a great thing to end on. I just really resonate with that so much. Thank you so much for being here. We'll put your contact info in the show notes. I hope people reach out to you. Much love to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Beverly.
If there's only one thing to take away from today's episode, it is that sharing your loving essence is what's most important in your marketing. When you can get across your authentic self to people, that is what resonates with them. That is what encourages people to sign up with you. That is what just facilitates this beautiful co-creation that happens. So don't underestimate the power of your own confidence in yourself and your purpose. Thanks again for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a positive review so that more people can see that social proof and want to listen to our podcast and receive coaching. And remember that the Holistic Coach Legacy is a path, not a destination. So stay course, stay on your path, and allow the unfolding to happen. Many blessings to you.